Aha! Here we are, everyone. I promise I am here. Let's adjust the background. And welcome Raiders in from a desolate Fox. Thank you for the shout out here. Daily, Daily, thank you for that. And let's get going into the final parts here of our Alien RPG exploration of building better worlds. Hang on. Oh, I set it down and it flopped. The fine folks at Free League did in fact send a physical copy of the book. So I am hashtag not sponsored in so much that I had no specific instruction of, look, give us a good review or else. I owe them no favors. They did not owe me the book, but you know what? They sent it along, and I greatly appreciate that. And so we've been giving a look at this expansion book into Alien RPG. And after reviewing the player portion, I haven't gone over or into the campaign that's in the back, because then I'd be spoiling the contents of it. That's why, you know, for a lot of other things, like even for D&D, which is how a lot of us have met, I haven't reviewed any of the adventures. I have not read a lot of them myself, because maybe I want to play through them one day. But I also don't want to spoil the story for any of you out there. But we did go over the mechanics. We did go over... well, yeah, Daily, I absolutely agree. I've been very happy with Free League as a company, as a publisher. They have a bevy of great products, sci-fi, fantasy. Even if we go, I guess it would be sci-fi, but if we take something that's more modern / mundane, as like Tales from the Loop, which isn't quite like it's not quite like Alien RPG or Blade Runner. But they make a lot of other great systems. Vaesen, Vaesen, Vaesen. One Ring, which it has its own system, but there's a Lord of the Rings compatible, like a 5e compatible Lord of the Rings that Free League publishes as well. Well, yes, I know how it's spelled. I want to pronounce it correctly. Yep, Dragonbane. Daily, of the things that I got in from my distributors, I was most sad that the Dragonbane items that were on the lists were not delivered. I think they were shorted, or they ran out, or something. I was fully expecting to have the full selection of Dragonbane in the store for this weekend, and unfortunately that was not the case. So, oh well. You know what? Always next week, though. But for the remainder of our time here together, let's delve back into Alium RPG, which itself did very well in a Kickstarter. It really got going. There's like a three-part, three cinematic adventures that can be run individually or strung together. In fact, events that happen in those are in the timeline you find in Building Better Worlds. Oh, well, I hope that your car or other things will survive the hailstorm, Bruce. Okay, no big deal. All right. So let's get going in this. For Building Better Worlds, this takes the core book and you are expanding the concept of the story into a longer form campaign style of play. And I bring that up for those who may not know, because Alien RPG can be played in cinematic style play, which tend to be shorter, like one shots, or just, you know, you're running a movie. So maybe the concepts or the themes are going to be a little bit different. The players may not be as upset if their character dies, because that's what happens in these movies. And this is giving you the tools needed to explore space, to start colonies and trading posts, to begin and encounter life on new worlds, the various political factions that can play into things as well. So there's a lot. If you're a lore hound for the Alien universe, there's a lot of good stuff in here. This itself does an interesting job of collecting information from the various media, from movies or books or comics or all these other things, and can distill it down. But ultimately, you don't have to pay attention to the minutia of the fluff of the setting. If you're in this because you want to play Helldivers, or you want to play Starship Troopers, or you want to play Dead Space, or you just want to play Star Trek but have it be a little bit more gritty, then this is a good way to go about doing that. So we'll make our characters using the core book and the materials in the expansion here of Building Better Worlds. And when we finish that, you know, we can talk about the mechanics of the system. You know, what happens if you do want someone to fire a pew pew at a rar XD, and move forward from there. As we reviewed things on a typical scientific excursion, which it could also be extrapolated to, you know, like scouting for a possible site for prospecting, or a colony, or something else along those lines. There were 12 roles aboard a ship. Though, it said you could get away with 6 if you really wanted to. However, wouldn't you know, but there are, with this expansion, 12 different types of characters you can build. And we simply assigned, randomly with the exception of the synth being a synth, the others were randomly assigned because, like with any other role-playing game, you might read... Here, let's go to... You might read the term medic, and you see this and you say, okay, so you might be like a paramedic, you might be a physical doctor, but these can also be counselors, like a Deanna Troi, or a therapist, or someone who can do a little bit of both. Or in this case, if you really just... This is a placeholder title. Don't feel like you have to play into a stereotype of a ship medic, like the one from Star Trek Voyager, or, you know, any of these others. But if we look at what the character can tend to focus on, empathy is our key attribute, with our key skills, meaning the ones we can be better at than others at the start: mobility, observation, and medical aid. So that itself is what is reduced to the term medic. This means that we have someone who tends to be quicker, or who can dodge, who can get to places or squeeze into places easier, who is good at listening, spotting, hearing, looking around. And medical aid is just that. If someone is hurt, you want to tend to someone. And because of the way that the system of Alien RPG is, the way that Alien RPG is set up, you might even be able to argue that medical aid, being aware of the body and how it works and its parts, might in this case mean that while we have someone with the career of medic, you could be like Deanna Troi, or alternatively a therapist, says Fluffy. not just an empath, with a very thirsty mother. Oh my gosh, she was a hoot. Oh wow. But what if we interpreted these skills as the instead of a Troy, we have a Neelix. We have someone who is the ship's what was he? He was the morale officer, as well as the cook, right? He was the galley chef. Because medical aid, if you know how to break down bodies and what the parts are and such, you might be pretty good at understanding poisons. You know, if you're exploring strange new worlds, then would this work as an herb or a spice, not only to flavor something, but to also not kill the people you're trying to feed. And I was very happy because in Building Better Worlds, it went over ways that you could take the concept of something like the corporate agent by its title. However, you can put it to the bend that you are working to actually subvert the corporations, just as a rabble-rouser, or as someone who's a union activist, or like a representative in that regard, because the skills for these are the same. The direction in which they're used, or the specifics in how they're used, are what can differentiate the same set of skills. So you will get a lot of that kind of flexibility here in the system. We started by making 3 characters. So for example, we had our colonial marine, who actually ended up being slotted in as the captain of the ship. Now, if you were to play into the absolute strengths of things, would a colonial marine in concept or by title be the strongest captain? Not if you're counting being a captain as like command or manipulation, perhaps. But we're not talking about min-maxing the ability and skill pools, because we have characters who are unique, who have a lot of considerations for things, and especially if you work in personal agendas, or you work in various other relationships, shady or above board otherwise, then we had a concept where a colonial marine was asked to be the captain of this science vessel, because he survived through the Marines. He is a leader from the front line, and while this does talk about the captains not usually being the ones going down on they don't call them away missions, but we can invoke a Star Trek term there, on an away mission, This one defies it, and he is a lead from the front type of person. He's not the face. However, he is there to back everyone up. And he does have that kind of resolution where he would most likely go down with the ship without reservation. He would sacrifice himself to save others. That is why he is the captain. Then you have our colonial marshal career ended up being randomly slotted into security. And you go, oh, marshal. So instead of a soldier, which is another way we could redefine what colonial marine means, because you don't have to be from the United Americas faction in Alien RPG to be a colonial marine. You could be from the United Progressive Peoples or the independent colonies. So here we have a colonial marshal, and the redux of that is you're an enforcer. You are, instead of a soldier, you are a bodyguard, bouncer, police officer, detective. You're not quite the heavy hitter of the soldier, but you are still someone who does, enforcing of things. So that ended up in concept working with security, and in particular, we have more of a spy type character, someone who's not very he or she isn't going to take a punch very well, whether that's from a human or through the skull by the second mouth of a xenomorph. However, we do have someone who is really good at long range interdiction and is very good at observation, sneaking. Kind of sneaking. We have mobility. But maybe watching the security camera feeds. If we're playing Among Us, which you could do in Alien RPG pretty fun and easily as well. So we're good with that. Comtech is, fixing or using electronics, and manipulation is just that. You're not telling someone what to do like you would with command. You're influencing people more subtly. Aha! So yeah, we have this concept of a colonial marshal, and you see this. Look, eye patch, cigar. You got this this bruiser who's gonna moidalize people. Looks like I went offline. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, then it's just us. Hi, everyone. We haven't reconnected yet. But thank you for being here. I super appreciate it. All right, and we're back. Hi. Let's press F5. Hopefully back now. Anyway, we're showcasing the adaptability of the different careers, which is something that we also were exploring in the prior non-D&D exploration series of Castles and Crusades, where the concept of a fighter isn't necessarily the same as a fighter in Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, they're both fighters that tend to have a physicality, a weapon usage, but you have a lot more flexibility in Castles and Crusades, just like you have a lot of flexibility with what the concept of a colonial marshal is. Now, we made our company agent, and now we're on to our kid. Hi, Malice Conspiracy and Mancheetah. Howdy to both of you. You didn't ask for a frontier life. Your parents brought you into this world kicking and screaming. Grown-ups always ask you what you want to be when you grow up, but all you want to do is be a kid. You used to fantasize about being an adult, able to stay up late and eat junk food whenever you want. Thing is, most of the frontier adults you know are always miserable and tired. There isn't much to do where you live, so you make your own fun. There's time to grow up later. For now, playing hide and seek in the ventilation system seems the way to go. Alien, you know, though, Malice Conspiracy, one of their talents here with, I think it's Beneath Notice. It's either that, it's that, Dodge, or Nimble, where if you play as a kid, I mean, you don't have to be a kid, but it makes you really hard to hit. But that being said, this is not Fallout 3 where you know, those types of characters are immune from the world's events. I'll put it PG-13 and lightly. Now, for our determination here, our kid is our primary pilot. Okay? And by the way, this worked out very well in our Red Space game when we ran it last year. I was clenched up. I was clenched up there. And you know what though? The kids seemed to pull through all right. Is he an Anakin Skywalker? No, but you know what? It was still a lot of fun. Anyway, so we have a character whose key attribute, meaning the potential at character creation, can be higher than the other three abilities, is agility. So let's go back here to our character sheet. Oh, that's right, entertain. All right, well, we'll come back to entertainer. I was going in order of our core book here. So entertainer is one of the two new careers in Building Better Worlds. So our role, I'm going to put it in as the name, is pilot. So we are primarily we are a pilot. Agility is going to be our key. So we'll put brackets here to indicate that. And our three key skills are mobility, survival, and observation. Mobility, survival, and observation. I have a lot of PDFs here, and for some reason it's chugging. Oh, shoot. What was this again? Survival. That's right. Oh, there we go. Stream elements recognize we're live again. Woohoo! Cheers. Anyway, at character creation, and talk to your game mother, your GM, if you get a higher starting amount of points to put into attributes or skills. But let's make first level. There's not really levels, but in D&D talk, let's make a first level character. You get 14 points to put into your attributes. Now, unless your GM says otherwise, each of your attributes start at 2. So you have some kind of basic dice pool for anything, even if it's a stretch. This gives us 6 points that we can put into our other attributes. The cap at character creation is 4. However, your key attribute may start at 5 if you wish. So we have, let's see. Our other pilot was... Oh, that was our company agent that we made before over here. So if the company agent was the co-pilot, and let's see, we had loading apparently. Thank you. We're high in wits, great with observation in comtech. So we're good at monitoring. This is kind of like a data style character, you know, life forms. We're good at working machines, and we tend to do things. We're not a very outgoing person. We're good at taking commands and doing things. So in this instance, perhaps to play off of this, our other pilot might need to be a little bit more outgoing, be a little bit more like a leaf on the wind. Ooh. All right, maybe not that. Pardon me. Also, hi, Hero Dragon. I think here we should go hard into our agility. This is giving us 9, 11, so we have 3 more points to put into things. Now, we can go higher with our skills. We'll get to that step. They can go up to 3. So even if we have a low wits, we can have a high value in the specific skill, and that gives us a specifically large dice pool for those. So we could keep wits down if we wished. Let's see. The other person was good at heavy machinery. We had... If this person's a bit of a compliment to that. Maybe we keep wits low. And we go... What if we go 3? And 3. Let's see, that's 6, 11, 13. We get 1 more. We could be well-rounded with a specialization in agility. Do we go for the all-rounder? Or do we put our 4th point here as a pilot? No, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go 3. That way... so there's our 9 plus 5 is 14. Now, we get 10 points to put into our skills. Our key skills can go up to 3 on character creation. Any other skills can start at 1 if it's in your budget to do so. Now, we were hired to pilot. Let's be a pilot. Now, our piloting might be at 1. However, our dice pool for piloting is 6, which is really respectable. If we do this, let's go 2. Three, 4. 5. 6. Seven, 8. Nine and 10. So we're a little spread out here. Here's my thinking, okay? For this here, we have this kid. We have a young hotshot pilot who is rising through the ranks here. We have someone who is probably more of a fighter pilot style, who him or herself is personally mobile, but this can also translate perhaps into piloting with ranged combat for shooting. Piloting is piloting. Mobility could come into play, but we do have someone who is also just very dexterous in his or her own way. And we have someone who's pretty well rounded, can address machines, can address some computers, can pay attention to things. But we have a very big kind of a yeehaw here for these particular skills. And that would lead us now into our talent. And in Alien RPG, think of a talent like a feat in D&D. This helps you specialize in something, or it can bring a weakness up to something else that you can do, right? We can have either Beneath Notice, Dodge, or Nimble. Beneath Notice. No matter what horrible situations you end up in, you always seem to make it out unscathed. Probably because no one ever pays much attention to you. When you roll for critical injury on yourself, you get to re-roll the dice and choose the result that you prefer. Dodge. When attacked in close combat, you can dodge. This works like blocking, but you roll using mobility instead of close combat. And you can only use it to reduce damage, not counterattack or disarm. You can even dodge a creature's signature attack. Or Nimble. Fun and games, maybe to others, but you know the truth. All that play has kept your reflexes sharp. You can push any skill roll based on agility twice, not just once like other characters. Each push increases your stress level by 1. This is leaning into that hotshot. We are confident, or at least we're cocky enough, despite what Han Solo told us. Don't get cocky, kid. We can push a piloting roll twice if we wanted to. Though, there is an extra consideration in building better worlds here. And for a kid, fast reflexes or stealthy are opened up for a character that would be more thematic to this kind of job or environment. So let's check out fast reflexes and stealthy. You can draw 2 initiative cards instead of 1 during the initiative draw. Choose the one you want to use and shuffle the other one back into the deck before others draw their cards. And stealthy, you get a +2 modification to mobility when using the skill to move undetected. So that would be on us personally. Hi, Urians. Welcome. Good to see you again. Daily, if you're around, can we get a shout out to Urians, please? Hope things are going well for you. So if we have a hotshot pilot, I'm really leaning into nimble, because we do have that young kid who can pull off the big stunts. Urience, please, Daily. And now you can see, oh, wait a minute. We don't need the career pilot to be a pilot. No, this kid. Oh, I'm sorry. That's on the entertainer sheet. Da 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 da. I mean, an entertainer could probably be nimble too in some ways. But you can see how we break the concept of kid. Now, can you play that like Newt from Aliens, like what was brought up above? Or, you know, I made a Fallout 3 reference, you know, because in that game, kids have a particular immunity to circumstances. You can. Though here, I mean, whether or not we actually have a kid as a, you know, a minor, not like, you know, pick and shovel, but as a youngin'. We don't have to, but this is what encapsulates a concept. So if we take that concept and say, no, we have the brash youth pilot here, the one that is willing to hotshot things. We already have a baked-in personality for this character, and look. The character is almost complete. I mean, gear is going to be whatever the gear is going to be. Let's see. Our health is equal to our strength. And our encumbrance, we can carry twice what our strength is. Yeah, could be both a minor and a minor. It depends on the labor laws that have made it out to the frontier. And boom, there we have a character. We have a great concept, a role on the ship, and a personality to go with it. All right, so now, before I keep clicking into it, we're going to go to Entertainer. And our Entertainer is going to be the corporate rep. This is the person from a private company, a private investor, a public entity, a monitor, an OSHA inspector, who knows? We have a character that is along for... let me see if I can... Gotta reduce this down because it's having a couple like smaller scrolls and then it'll pop up. There we go. The company representative, the company who sponsored the expedition, usually sends a suit to assess the exploitable assets delivered by the team. And that in itself could very well describe exactly what we create. A tattletale, an accountant, a Dolores Umbridge of the group. Or if we have someone who's an entertainer who is doing this, well, let's see. Entertainers, their key attribute is empathy, with key skills of manipulation, command, and observation. Manipulation, command, and observation. All right. Now, in concept, you can be a singer, a dancer. You can be a dealer at a gambling at a casino, an unofficial club owner, waiter, barkeep, or other profession, oldest or otherwise. Because in space, no one can hear you scream, but it doesn't mean you still can't do it for fun. And with an entertainer in the role of, you know, monitor. Again, don't think that corporate rep has to be of a corporation. We have a monitor. We have a nanny, even. I mean, I was about to say off the springboarding off the prior concept, you have a mommy on board the ship, but that's a whole other thing, and we're going to keep this PG-13. There's already a lot of symbolism in Alien, all right? let's just keep it to symbolism here, especially because our AI is named Mother. So we have someone, though, whose job on the ship it is to ultimately account for people, places, and things, to talk to people, not necessarily, I mean, maybe the ship's counselor in a sense, but one with a particular other role. This, I don't know, would this be kind of like Guinan from Next Generation? That's kind of the vibe I'm picking up. It is kind of a Guinan, and, or, you know what? What actually is the consort's name from Firefly? Oh, it's been a long time. Shame on me for that. For those of you who might know, what was her name? Who was the one who sort of attached herself on the hip of the Firefly and came along on the adventure? Inara. Okay. Thank you. But we have someone who isn't just being a mean boss, but someone who can probably get more information and dirt on situations and people because she is the one that serves the drinks. She is the one that, you know, can be relatable. The one who, he or she turns the ball cap around and sits backwards in the chair to be cool. And say, you know who else had doubts about his future empire? That's right, Mr. Wayland. Yeah, survival. And so I think that's the angle that we can take, and it's perfectly fine to lean into this or to lean away with it and look at the fact that we can go very heavy in talking with people. So let's bring up this sheet again. Our entertainer is our corporate representative. You know, our monitor, our babysitter, or whatever, right? Hey! Well, thank you very much, Kid Ninja. I hope you're enjoying our character builder here. So where do we start? Remember, you get 14 points for your attributes, though 8 of those are locked in because all your attributes start at 2. Nice and easy. This gives you 6... hello! This gives you 6 points to play with. At character creation, unless your GM, your game mother, says otherwise, the cap is 4 with the exception of your key attribute. Whew, there we go. This can be 5 if you wish it to be. Now, if we are if we want to lean heavier into the fact that we want to be this this face, we want to be the cool dad, the cool youth pastor, we want to be you know, the person everyone on board the ship can talk to, but we're also the one who's making sure we're monitoring things, right? We gotta keep the books what they need to be, even if we're not going to be overt about it. This is going to be a very interesting mix, I think. And even if you want to say that we do have someone behind the bar, that might very well mean that we have someone who does have a physicality to him or herself, but is also personable. So now we're at 12. We can bring empathy up one more if we wish. Or we could go 3 wits, and we could also go... we could go 3 wits and 3 agility as kind of a balance with 2 slightly higher specialties. Or we could dump 2 more points into 1 more of these here. Now, if we did want to go... If we did want to go... You know what? Let's try this. Hi, Naya Nazgani Anubis. It's been a long time since I got to say your full name, Naya Nazgani Anubis. It's a lot of fun. I've been having the creativity absolutely flow this entire week, Naya Nazgani Anubis. Let's do this. There's our 12, 13, 14. What this, by attribute alone, is telling us is we have a character who is strong, who has a physicality, and also has more of an emotional, instead of an IQ, more of an emotional quantity, right? We talk. We may not be smart, per se, that we're good with computers. I mean, we all have some, right? In order to get this job, you got to do something. We have our base of 2. We may not be the best at fixing or using complex electronics, and we're probably used to other people furnishing us with supplies, because, I mean, we have a corporation or a sponsor taking care of us. People are coming to us, which means our observation actually can be higher. But we're not used to the rigors, per se, of knowing, well, you can eat this or you can drink this, because we're used to being able to eat and drink everything that's in front of us. And we're not the best with electronics. And that's fine too. So if we do it this way, look, if you're a bartender or you work in a casino, or if you're in a situation where you're talking to someone who's suffering from space madness, and then he bites the soap like Ren and Stimpy, you might need to be in a position to defend yourself or to subdue the person who is succumbing to space madness. Same with agility and perhaps getting out of the way. And we need to be stronger with the way that we can command or manipulate people, because our captain is leading from the front. Our corporate rep, however, is probably leading more subtly. And can, in a pinch, maybe as the representative of the ultimate sponsor, might even have a slightly higher command than our captain, because I think we put 1 in command for him. But anyway, let's move on to skills. You get 10 that you can distribute. All skills at character creation can have 1 point in them, except your key skills, which may have up to 3. Well, if we need to defend ourselves, we can go close combat. We could also worry about mobility. Hi, Miller. Actually watched part of Pandorum today. Good movie. And along the lines of conversation. What do you... can you clarify, Miller? Now, observation is probably an important part. We need to listen and hear. What if we did this? What if we put observation at 3? So yes, our wits are 2, but we're great at observing. Or if you wanted to save those points and say, well, people come to us anyway, and if we're presumed to just have a natural trust with people, maybe we don't really need to listen in for secrets or to be monitoring, to look at on the horizon for danger. We could just keep that at 2, because we're specializing our role on the ship. We might hardly ever leave the ship. If the ship is whatever, government property, corporate property, an individual's property. So we may not be very good at this, but what if we go heavy? 3 manipulation, 3 command. That gives us 6, 7, 8, and we get 2 more points to put into things. Well, maybe we do know how to fire a gun in a pinch if we have to. 9. Maybe we know how to fix doors or fix machines. We might be better at fixing broken hearts or fixing a drink. Heavy machinery might not be the way to go, especially if we are more reliant on other people. In fact, well, so that would be, if it's more for defense, yeah, we could swing a pipe or a fist, but we're probably better at like dodging and getting out of the way of things, right? We need to rely on other people in this case to keep us safe. So if we do work with others, you know what? Medical aid, because medical aid can be therapeutic, psychological, or even psychiatric. We have 6, 7, 8, 9. So maybe we put 1. Let's put 1 in observation. Oh, what? So what is Pandorum? I don't think I've heard of that movie, Miller. Is this a recent one? All right, so there's our 10. And I think we have an excellent and a unique crew member, and someone who has a very distinct role. Can still contribute, because look, we may not have a skill point in ranged combat, but if the defecation was hitting the ventilation, we could still pick up a pistol and fire. We just have a native agility that's higher. We're just not specializing in ranged combat. In fact, we would probably prefer to stay out of it if at all possible. All right, now what about our talent? Eagle Eye, Trustworthy, Perform, Hidden Stash, or Quick Draw. Let's see. You are around other people all the time, watching, observing, and your attention to detail is second to none. You never fail to spot people cheating at cards and other little things that happen around you. You gain a +2 modification to any observation test relating to sleight of hand or spotting concealed items on a person. Could come in handy, and that could bolster the one skill where, yeah, we're okay at it. It might make it better. And so that would take a weakness to a standard or a pretty okay. especially because we didn't specialize in observation, in which case, ooh, you know, that would be a huge bump up too. What about trustworthy? You have a trusting face and smile, and people warm to you. Gain a +2 modification to manipulation tests whenever you're trying to gain someone's trust. Aha! Corporate rep? You know to turn the ball cap around as well as the chair to sit in it. Perform. You can use command to create a beguiling artistic performance, so much so that those watching are captivated. You can hold a target's attention for 1 round per success on your roll. They suffer a -3 modification to any observation tests during this time. That would be, I mean, just distracting in a club, or Bugs Bunny dresses up and puts a lipstick on, puts some stuffing in, and hey big boy, and other hijinks happen in the background while there's a distraction. And your game mother might even say that, I mean, maybe you could even use perform for trying to distract a xenomorph or something to buy people time. That could be interesting, not only to make the living, but to be cooperative. Now, the other 2 that we can take, these 3 are specific to entertainers. There are general talents as well. And we can also take hidden stash or quick draw. You begin each session with an extra item of your choice, hidden on your person or stowed somewhere safe. The item must be something you could reasonably have. There's a feat like this in Pathfinder that's really interesting. The GM has final say about what items are available to you. If the GM allows it, you may wait until a dramatic moment during the session to choose what type of item you are hiding. That might actually be pretty interesting. You always have just the right thing for just the right time. And let's see, what was the other one? It was hidden stash or quick draw. You can draw your weapon so quickly it doesn't cost you an action. I like that. That'd be cool if we were doing a different kind of a bartender, like a Wild West. You're behind the bar at a saloon, and you need to, if there's trouble, or I mean, even just being a gunfighter, or something else, right? You want to put on a show. Hidden Stash is a feat in PF1. I think it's in 2 as well. I'm really liking Hidden Stash. Because we have a character who's supposed to be self-reliant, you know who we have here? Do you know who we just built? Especially if we go with Hidden Stash. I mean, I like oh, did I go too far? I might have. I like Trustworthy. But Hidden Stash really reminds me that we made a character of Fujiko from Lupin the Third. Why don't we do that? And if you all don't know who I'm talking about, either 1, get cultured, or 2, I'm just going to proceed to turn into a pile of dust in front of you. Either way, I win. And there we go. Look, there's our attributes, there's our skills, and we already have a fun personality, a role on the ship, and we can keep moving along. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. We have 4 health, and we can haul an encumbrance of 8. All right, who's up next? Our medic. Our medic. Remember, it's a placeholder name. It's a concept. We have empathy, mobility, observation, and medical aid. Empathy, mobility, observation, and medical aid. Yeah. Mobility, observation, medical aid. All right. Same thing as before. We get to assign 6 points, and our highest can be 5 in empathy with a cap of 4 in everything else. Now, our medic's role aboard our ship is a scientist, in particular, a geologist. All right. So with this, we're on a team. There's 4 others on our ship. We have we're the geologist. There's a biologist or a xenobiologist. There's a xenoarchaeologist and an astrophysicist. So let's see. As a geologist, we study plate tectonics, other similar disciplines, volcanology, of environmental sciences, ecosystems, and the like might fall under geologist as well, as we're trying to understand this kind of a thing. Now, a xenobiologist, I mean, that'd be like, oh, well, I'm going to study the plants in particular. As a geologist, you might understand, well, there's plants here because of the rainfall, humidity, and other things. Don't oversell it. They like rocks. Yeah, you got to get some moon rocks to study. All right, so we have a character in concept medic who is a geologist. So if we're out hiking, we're observing, having, the ability to offer first aid in the field is important, as well as possibly even understanding how things can be broken down and used in medicines and such. I think what we're going to do, let's go. You know what? I think we can almost break type here, because while empathy is our key attribute, I actually think what we can do is go hard on these others first. 12, 13, 14. Now, what this implies is we're someone who, like, we are mobile. We can climb. We can we can kind of like squeeze around. We can reach in and grab things. We're not good at telling others what to do, and we don't play emotional games. But we can specialize in medical aid for either treating injury or perhaps in ways of harnessing our finds, our minerals, and other things to understand the body, right? Now, if we do that, let's move on, because this is our 14 points. We get 10 points in skills. Key skills can go up to 3 all other skills are capped at 1 at character creation. So what we can do, if we want, we could say, yeah, we don't have a lot of empathy, but we're really good at medical aid. If we're out in the field, you know, this is kind of a this would be like Bones from original series, right? He is a doctor, but his bedside manner, he's going to give it to you straight, and he's going to be blunt about it. He's also not trying to convince you of other. He's not being subtle. You see something, and there it is. Maybe that's kind of a geologist. Look, there's a rock here. It got here for a reason. It's manifest. You know, physics were in play to have it roll downhill, or there's no moss on this rolling rock for a reason. If we do that, you know what, though? Mobility could also be... You know what? Let's drop medical... Should we? I kind of like it that he is. He could be kind of a gruff doctor in that regard. In that case, maybe mobility is 2. He needs to be able to operate as a geologist, some heavy machinery. Maybe he doesn't... He understands the body, and he can relate to heavy machinery more than, you know, these stupid computers. Which, in Alien RPG, in normal circumstances, you don't need to know how something works to push a button and have it work. What this means is he can use a computer. He has, especially as a base 4 wits, you don't need extra points in Comtech to be able to do, you know, a lot of the... Well, here's a spectrogram of the elemental composition of this rock. So maybe we could embody that with heavy machinery, survival. So let's see, we have 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. And as a geologist, it's important. Maybe he has to do overland driving in vehicles. Why don't we throw 1 into piloting? Because if you're going over bumpy surfaces, or even if it's a hovercraft, in order to get to places, piloting might be very good for this character. So observation, it's in front of us. Or this could represent we're very absorbed in our work that we don't really pay attention to what's happening around us. But we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's our 10 points. Now, from here, we get calming presence, compassion, or field surgeon as our particular talents for medic. And then we'll see what's expanded into with building better worlds. So let's boop over here. People find themselves relaxing whenever you're around. Once per turn, you may reduce the stress level of another character within short range by 1, in addition to the normal stress recovery. In order to use this talent, you and any character that hopes to benefit from your calming presence must be in a relatively safe place. You cannot use this talent on yourself. Now, in this case, it's calming presence. This could be, if he's stern, let's keep using medical references. This could be like a Dr. House. He's not nice. He will look you in the eye, and he won't be gentle, and he'll tell you that you have either cancer or lupus, okay? As the meme goes. However, you can trust that he is going to be exhaustive in trying to understand what's happening, give it to you straight, and get you going again. Which in itself can be calming, because then you don't have to worry, what is he not telling me? Now, this is purely fluff. This is describing how you have an ability called Calming Presence with a person who is very brusque. Think of the name as a placeholder for the ability, and that might make sense. He can use logic in order to reduce the stress. Compassion, this isn't just a job for you. You truly care about the people under your care. You can push any skill roll based on that. All right. Well, I mean, that could come in handy. That could bring a weakness up into a sense of normalcy, because in a pinch, yeah, we can feel feelings and muscle through it. Our heart can, in fact, grow 3 sizes that day as the Grinch. Field Surgeon, you know the delicate art of stopping a wound from bleeding or treating grave injuries? You get a +2 modification to medical aid when treating someone who is about to die from critical injury. All right. Calming Presence might work from that logical standpoint. Let's see what the expanded talents are for a medic. Group Psychology or Counselor. Group Psychology. You understand what drives back behavior and how people tend to function as a group. With a successful observation roll, all right, so we're not the best at that. You can predict the short-term attitude or behavior. It doesn't mean you can't take it, but short-term attitude or behavior of a group of people. You get to ask the GM a question about the group, and they must offer you some insight, more detail with extra successes, into what they are going to do as a group. And then the other one was... it was Counselor. And is that back here? Once per turn, you can use the command skill to reduce the stress level of another character within short range. For each success you roll, their stress level is reduced by 1 extra step. In this case, I think we should stick to Calming Presence. And we just have a very rock-solid, logical character who can help reduce the stress of those around him or her. Oh, it very much is a huge part of it, DQ. And all the more better that that a possibly cranky character is the one that people can turn to in times of need to be that solid, unwavering rock to help reduce stress. Yes, they have acid for blood, but if you think about it, it's not going to hurt, because the acid will destroy your nerve endings as it hits you. And if it kills you, you don't have anything to worry about, because it'll all be over in a moment. Well, where I was scared for my life before, I can't say I feel better about the odds, but if you put it that way, I guess you're right. Let's do this. Yeah, gruff and stoic. And look, everyone, look at these unique personalities we're able to build through this very simple character building system. All right, anyway, I'm gonna take a quick break. We still have more characters to build from here. We have our officer, and where we're gonna pick up our officer is going to be our xenobiologist. Interesting. All right. Give me about 5 minutes to refresh myself. I'm gonna come back and let's build a xenobiologist and continue on from there. This is fun. I hope you're getting a feel for the game, and we can play around with the mechanics of it. Because if you hear stress, If you hear push a roll, what does that mean? We can absolutely get to it. Ask those questions in chat. If I can't get to them because I'm talking about it, DQ absolutely can talk about the stress mechanics, or answer, like, what does it mean to push a roll? When do you do it? How does that work? All right, I'll be back. Give me 5-10 minutes at most, and we'll keep going from there, everyone.